If you are a runner who has trouble activating your glute muscles, here are some of my favorite glute exercises that you can try to strengthen those glute muscles. From clinical experience working with runners, I personally do think that strengthening and activating our glutes does in fact help us run more efficiently, and as a result can help us run faster and with better technique. By doing specific exercises to strengthen our weaker body parts, we can increase our body awareness when we are running, and it can also help us improve our running technique, hence improving our running economy, allowing us to run faster. This is going to be a short and sweet video, so here are my favorite glute exercises to help you as a runner to use this powerhouse of a muscle to speed up your runs and improve your running technique. So the first exercise is the glute bridge with the calf raise. Why I chose this exercise for a glute exercise for runners is because when we are running, we want to be using our calf and our glute to help propel you forward. So with this, we're targeting both at the same time. So to do this, hands on the side, you're going to come up into a calf raise. You're going to drop the hip, lift it up, squeezing your glute. Come down, squeeze. So when you're doing this, you want to concentrate on having your foot, especially the ball of the big toe, on the wall as you drive that hip up, and keeping also your torso straight so your core is engaged as you drive up. Try to do 3 sets of 15 for this one, and same thing for the other side. So a common mistake that I might see people do is that they might not have their core in control and they're rolling their torso down. So that's something that I don't commonly like to see in clinical practice. I like that core to be strong and stable, and you're powering from your calf and your glute. So that's it for the first one. So the next exercise is called the hip drop with lift. I like to use a ball, so if you have a ball, that's great. If you don't have a ball, you can always use a block, like a yoga block or something like that, just so then you can be away from the wall. So to do this exercise, you want 3 points of contact on your stance foot, and you're essentially gonna drop this hip outwards, and then you're gonna drive that knee into the ball and squeezing this hip. Drop it so you can stretch your hip, push into the wall, stretch, push in, stretch, push in. Right now I'm working on this outer hip right here. So why I like this exercise is because this is a very functional exercise for runners. When you're running, you're always standing on one leg at a time. So essentially this is going to help you work that hip stability so your hips don't drop. And this is what we call a Trendelenburg sign as you are running when you're propelling 1 foot at a time forward. So with this exercise, I like to do 3 sets of 15 because this is an endurance exercise. So the next exercise we have is the banded hip flexion. So you're going to loop a band on your feet, keep your core engaged, drive your knee up, and at the same time, you're going to think about this stance leg to have the glute be engaged. Come back down slow. I like to do 1 side at a time. So with this one, yes, we're working hip flexors here, but we're also really working on a contralateral, the opposite hip, especially that glute max muscle to help to stabilize you. So bring it up, hold it for 3 to 4 seconds, come down slow, bring it up, 3 to 4 seconds, come back down slow. And as you can see, this again is a very functional exercise for runners because you're getting that stability in that hip, you're learning to knee drive and stabilizing with your glute maximus muscle. And I like to do 3 sets of 12 for this exercise. So the last exercise I have for you is a step up with glute drive. So with this exercise, you're essentially just doing a step up because research does link step ups as one of the best exercises you can do to help to strengthen and grow your gluteus maximus, which is your glute muscles. Why I like this exercise as well is because you're utilizing your whole leg, and as a runner, you need overall leg strength. And with this one, you're also getting that glute as the main driver because you're trying your best to use your hip for that hip drive. So the front foot's gonna have 3 points of contact, and you're going to drive up with an arm opposing. So like running. So when you're doing this, try your best to think about you're using your hip, your glute muscle to help propel you forward. If you want to use your hip a little bit more, you might not want the knee to be too far forward over your toes. If it's far forward over your toes, you could be using your quad a little more. Also, if you want to use your hip a little bit more as well, feel free to lean forward a little bit more to get that hip drive. I like to do 3 to 4 sets of 15 for this one, just because running, if you're doing a distance race, typically it is an endurance sport. So just one common mistake that I typically see people make is when you're driving, if you don't have good hip stability, the knee might sometimes want to cave in. So that's something that we might need to watch out for. If that's the case, you might want to really do those first couple exercises that I showed you just to get those side hips working a little bit better, and then to help to improve your running speed and technique as you keep doing these exercises. Hit the like button below if you like shorter videos like this, and let me know what other content ideas you may have down in the comments below. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in my next video.